here is we train a PDCA cycle, which is a universal research logical framework that underlies every empirical study. Okay, so instead of starting with formal data sets, you reflect on your own performance development using self-chosen KPIs on body, mind, heart, and spirit. And the goal is to learn through practical and measurable developmental process. Okay, so the phases the phases of this PDCA research approach correspond precisely to the scientific research process. Okay, which is basically you make a hypothesis. Okay, you want to get better on something. You get some data collection. You perform some analysis, you interpret the results, and then you standardize the results. Okay, so the PDCA cycle represents an applied research method. Okay, so it's a methodological training exercise, and the best way to train something is to training on your own skin. Okay, on yourselves. If I would have given you some economical, theoretical framework, I don't know, some problem, abstract problem, you probably would have run to GPT tools, okay, ChatGPT or Gemini or something, and you would have delivered a perfect study, but it would not have touched you, okay, as people, as human beings. So the goal that I tried with a mixture of being a little bit rough on you and giving you research methodological and applied research loop that applied it on you yourselves makes it more of a lasting experience. Okay, so again, please accept my apologies for being not nice, but I am not here to give you what you want. I am here to give you what you need. Okay, this is the way I see it, at least. So what you learned here so far is how to collect data. First, how to decide what you want to improve. Second, how to collect data. Third, how to process or how to describe processes and analyze processes, how measures can be delivered, and how improvements on these processes can be standardized and verified. Okay, and this on 4 dimensions based on your own body, mind, heart, and spirit. Okay. So that's so far. Do you have any feedback, or you want to share how you felt? Yeah, so go ahead. Somebody there? Yes, yes, yes. Of course, of course, of course. Yeah. So the next, you're asking about the next step, right? Yeah. So the next step is going to be building upon this first exercise, so which is designed to link you to the topic. Okay, link you as people to the topic. The next step, what we see today, is going to be an assignment on the economic side of the business. Okay, so yes, of course. You will see it in a couple of minutes. Okay. Yeah. I'm focusing on the experience of the first assignment. do you have some feedback, or you want to share how you felt? No, I decide when we go ahead. I am waiting for your feedback. If you don't have any feedback, just say don't have feedback, and then we continue. But I decide when we go ahead. Do you want to share something? If not, we can continue. No? Okay. Anybody else? All right. Well, then when we look at research methods, okay, we think about a standard procedure to approach research. And the standard procedure to approach research is to create research documents. Okay, these research documents can have different structures, okay? But I have tried to put them together in one structure that is standardized, okay? So almost all research documents, and this is going to be true for your master final work, or it will be true for a PhD. Some of you write your PhD thesis, okay? They have almost all the same parts. The first part is the title. Okay, so you need to have a compelling title, something that people are interested in. Second part is an abstract. Okay. Third part are some keywords. Fourth is some introduction. Fifth is something called materials and methods. Okay. Number 6 are the results. Number 7 is some discussion. Of those results. Number 8, conclusions. Number 9, references. Okay, so this is the structure that I would say almost all research endeavors have until PhD level. If you write a book, it will be a little bit different, but this is basically it. Okay, so I'm gonna give you some practical hints on this, on how to create a compelling research document. So let me give you some practical hints. Okay, so the first hint is use LaTeX. Okay, this is not Word. I mean, you can use Word or Pages or stuff like that, okay? But the best is to use LaTeX. You can create free account on the best. I mean, there are local LaTeX compilers, but you can create an account on www.overleaf.com, and there you can start creating your own LaTeX documents for all sorts of there are millions of templates from millions of universities, lots of material already online. So this is a good address to go. Okay. If you look at, I mean, all the standard journals have their own templates, and you can you can organize that. So the advantage of LaTeX is that is standardized. Okay, and it's a standardized way to format the document. And this is especially important for when you work on references. Okay, I'll show you later an example, okay, on how to do it, but this is especially important when you work on references. So for reference management, which is going to be the second tip, reference management, there are several options. I recommend you use one platform called Zotero, www.zotero.com. I think it's com or org. Wait. No. It's org. All right, so you just download that program in your local computer, and you can manage all your references and export something called BibTeX. document, which will be uploaded on the LaTeX as well. So one important aspect also is Google Scholar. Okay, where you can search for papers. You can search for research material. Okay, just look into it. We will do later on a little example so that you can follow what I'm trying to say. All right, so these are some hints. I'll come back to that later on. First, let's look at the structure on the left. And we can look at it in detail. Okay. So, any questions so far? Can you give me some feedback, some thumbs up or something that tells me that you're there and not somewhere else? I got feedback only from two people, three. The rest. All right. Okay. Well. So let's look at the parts of the. So when we talk about a title, okay, you want to do it, you want to make it compelling. People need to read the title and know what you're talking about in your paper, okay, in your work. It's a single sentence. Stating your research, okay? It's as simple as that, but depending on the title, if the title is good, you will get more citations. People will cite your work more. If your title is not good, then you will not get citations. Okay. Second thing, the abstract. Okay. The abstract is one single paragraph of about 200 words with a sober, so not overstating, with a sober representation of your work. You are not allowed to state anything in the abstract which has not been proven in the paper. Okay, so it's not allowed to state anything in the abstract which has not been proven before in the paper. So how does it look like? You can go to my website and, I don't know, click on anything that, so it looks like this, okay? This is one of my research papers on quantum computing. And the abstract basically looks like one sentence in which you have, you state everything that is done later on the paper, okay? Sometimes, the paper is the rest, okay? So you go into detail there and we are going to describe it later on, but sometimes you may also create a so-called graphical abstract, which will help readers understand in one picture, in one graphic, what you're doing. So if people don't want to read the text, they can read the graphical abstract and get an image or a feeling of what you do. In this case, we created some smart socks. We put some sensors on socks for multiple sclerosis. People or patients to see how they were walking, and with these sensors, with this information, we created a quantum computing algorithm that could classify the walking or could correlate the walking quality with the illness. Okay. So it's and therefore apply better medications and so on. So this is one example. Okay, so it's a single paragraph, one paragraph, around 200 words describing what you did. All right. Any questions about the abstract? So yeah, go ahead. Yeah, only one single paragraph. Yeah, you see here. You don't add like a full stop. Like here, you see. Here there are two paragraphs. Okay. In the introduction, you can have different paragraphs, like a full stop. In the abstract, you don't have a full stop. It's just one single paragraph, one chunk. Okay. All right. So as I said, the graphical abstract is usually optional, but many journals will ask you for it, okay, as a standard. But for us, it's optional, okay? So the parts of the abstract, you need to have you need to have like a short introduction, you need to describe shortly the methods used, and you need to state the results obtained. Okay. These three things need to be included in the abstract. And you can use this structure to organize your master thesis, okay? And this is what I would recommend. So one hint about the abstract is first you write the abstract at the end of the writing process. So even though the abstract is the first thing that the readers will see, look, you see after the title and the authors, the first thing that readers see is the abstract, and then the rest of the paper comes. You write the abstract at the end. The reason is simple. You are including your results, you're including your methods, you're including a short introduction, so you cannot write the abstract before you have the whole structure. Okay. And the second thing is that you keep your abstract statements sober. Okay, in Chicago, people would say keep it low, okay, or play it low key, not overstatements, okay? Never overstate what you achieved. This is very, very, very important. Do not overstate, okay? All right. Any questions? As I said, you may go to my website, which is www.prof.com, profh4.com, and there you have like a bunch of examples on this structure, okay? Well, any questions? If you don't have questions, please say thumbs up and then I can continue. All right, so yeah. Yep, correct. Yeah, overstate is you don't want to say you cured cancer, okay? When you are just showing some cancer cells in images, okay? You cannot say something that you did not prove in your thesis. You could say, okay, future work should go towards, okay, in this direction, but you would say that in the here in the conclusions, okay, here in the conclusions you may add some future work. Okay, but in the abstract, never overstate, just keep it low, okay, keep it low key. Better to understate than to overstate, because any reviewer would like say, no, you didn't prove that, I don't accept your paper, it will not come to publication. Okay. Yep, you're welcome. So the second or the third point are the keywords. Or any more questions? Well, you can interrupt me anytime. Just put your microphone on and just say whatever questions you have. So the keywords. Keywords is just when you put your research online on a journal, search machines like Google or Elsevier. I mean, there are a couple would like find your research faster if you have good keywords. Okay, so it's just a list. Keywords is a list of 5 to 7 usually words that are used by search engines to find your work. Okay. All right. So in the example that we're dealing with, you see here keywords variational quantum eigensolver, which is a methodology of quantum artificial intelligence algorithm. Quantum classical hybrid algorithm is another keyword. Biomechanical sensor analysis, feedback control system, and wearable technology. Okay, so these are my keywords in this example. All right. So this is just a no-brainer. Just need to find the right keywords so that Google finds you faster and you get higher score on Google and stuff. This is sort of a SEO. So the fourth point is where the article or your journal paper or your research paper starts. Okay, and it's called introduction. Okay. The introduction should outline the research in its context. And this is a super important word, okay, context. If you are doing research on economic, okay, so a hint again. When performing economic research, your context is usually socio-economical. Okay, so you cannot do just a economic contextual introduction. You need to do a socio-economic introduction. Okay, your context is high-level description of the environment in which your research has taken place, okay? The introduction, the introduction should highlight the meaning and need of your research. Okay. It should define or describe the so-called state of the art This is a super important concept. State of the art. So answering the question, what have others done? Okay. And subsequently should outline why your research is necessary, usually because others did not take care of that specific thing that you are describing. Okay. One hint again, This is what I recommend everybody that starts. I also have some PhD students, and I recommend that to them as well. Hint. Like a little rule, okay? After every statement, add a reference. Okay, so if we go to the introduction of the example article, you see here the increasing intersection of quantum computing with real-world application is opening new avenues to address complex data-driven problems. Reference 1, 2, and 3. If I click to 1, 2, and 3, if I click to 1, then I get the reference on the left by Pilam, Root, and Chamola, Quantum Computing Applications for Internet of Things in IET Quantum Communications. Okay, if I click on 2, it's systematic literature review, quantum machine learning and its application. If I click on 3, review of distributed quantum computing. Okay, I could also go and say, okay, let me show you the PDF versus verifying I'm not a robot, and probably will download. So this is the paper itself. Okay, so as you see, it has a slightly different format, and the references are going to be down here. So you see here the references by Pilam, Peral, Garcia, and Barral. Okay, and all neatly structured here in the introduction. All right. Questions on that? So after every sentence, after every statement, add a reference. This is the best way to not get lost. Okay? Also, another practical hint. The structure of paragraphs. So whenever you have a paragraph, you may structure it in 3 parts. So the first part, the second part, and the third part. Right? So the first part, so this is a paragraph. The first part is, it can be, I don't know, 1 or 2 sentences. It's the main idea of the paragraph. The second part, it can be like more sentences than 1 or 2. Is this the explanation and context? And the third part is a sentence that links to the next paragraph. So in this manner, if you structure your paragraph like this, you will have following structure in your paper, in your yeah, I guess you can use that for the whole introduction. So because you have here like your first sentence or first two sentences, the body of the paragraph, and then the link that anchors you to the next. Okay. Again, main idea, context, link to the next. So this is paragraph 1, this is paragraph 2, and so on. If you do structure your paper like this, then somebody reviewing your paper would be able to read only the first sentences of each paragraph and be able to understand the whole without a problem. And if he or she wants, then he can go ahead and this is a section, okay? For instance, the introduction. I could read just the first sentence of each paragraph and understand what you're trying to say. Okay? So this is a way to make writing structured and actually easier. Okay? Is this understandable? Yeah. I need you to give me feedback. I'm recording the whole lecture, so I will upload that later on to YouTube. For those of you new, because there are some of you that are new, you need to go to www.profh4.com, like this website, and then click on lecture videos or lecture notes, and then you just look for the course. Okay, lecture videos, which will be YouTube, and lecture notes will be GitHub. All right. Good. So another hint, when you're writing your paper, not only in the introduction, is do not use references older than 5 years unless it's unavoidable. Okay? So unless you can avoid it, use newer references. All right, so we talk about the introduction. The last paragraph of the introduction is a little description of the structure of the paper hereinafter. Okay, as you see here in the example I'm trying to show you, when you go to the last part of the introduction, you have an area which is called organization of the paper. This paper is structured as follows. Section 2 introduces the case study. Section 2.2 provide a comprehensive overview of hardware. 2.3 a description of the software. Section 2.4 we outline the methodology, and then section 3 offers a detailed discussion of the findings and so on. So there is a very important paper you should read, download, which is this one. Okay, so we go to Google Scholar. It's called Building Theories from Case Study Research. Okay, it's by Eisenhardt, which is a scholar, very reputed scholar, and you can, I guess you can download it. It's free, so you just go to Google Scholar, and so that's a very good paper, very well structured. Okay. Yeah, any questions? Can I go ahead with the next section, materials and methods? It depends on the, that's a good question. It depends on the work you're doing. If you're doing a master thesis, I would say like maximum of 15 pages. Okay. If you're doing a PhD thesis, it should be longer. If you're on a bachelor's, maybe 8, or I don't know. It depends on this. It's just, usually you should not judge research based on its length. Okay, that is not usually a good, how shall I put it, it's not usually a good quality KPI. Okay, so yeah, it should be the link to the next. So like, no, you can say, well, in the next paragraph we will discuss this topic, okay? Or this is this is important because I mean, if you're talking about, I don't know, automobile industry in India, okay? You can, and in the paragraph you were talking about demographics and how people are getting more money, okay, to buy cars, and then you say, well, and we will link this to 2 special cases in Delhi and Mumbai, okay? And then in the next paragraph you can talk about in detail Delhi and Mumbai. All right? So you are introducing the next paragraph. All right. Any more questions? Well, all right. So Then we go to materials and methods. Okay. In this section, you should describe in as much detail as possible your methodology. Okay, so that research can be first understood, but more important than understood, it should be replicated. So if your results cannot be replicated, then your research is, excuse my lingo, a piece of shit. Okay, it's not worth the paper it's written on. You should post your data. There are GitHub repositories for your data, for your computer code. You should post protocols if you are asking some experts. Everything must be disclosed. If your research cannot be replicated, it's not research. Okay? If you're doing research on economics, chances are that you will have to do with people. Okay? So if you are using people's data sets or information coming from people, you need to be or from animals, you need to be very careful that this information is anonymized. Okay? Otherwise, you get a shitload of problems eventually down the road. So you need to make it replicable. And if you work with people or animals, which is like the most of the times when you're talking about economics, make sure that your research is not traceable. Okay, that cannot be traced to the individuals you're talking about. All right. This is very important, and that's why I'm trying to overstate it here. So one paper that you might like if you are into economics is this thing I'm doing with one of my PhD students. Okay, it's about extracting information with artificial intelligence from financial reports. If you click up there, enhancing financial text analysis with BERT topic. So this is something that you might like. Okay, if you like artificial intelligence and are interested into finance, using some AI, we are trying to extract and foresee how the finance of a company will be in the future based on their financial reports. Okay, so we I don't know, we look at topics and we are able to Separate the topics basically using math. Okay, so artificial intelligence applied. So you might be interested. Okay, so there's a bunch of topics I work on. So whatever you're interested on, you just can hit me and ask anytime. All right. Good. Questions on this? Here is where, if you would be writing about what you did in your first assignment, here's where you would describe the PDCA methodology that we used. Okay, so first I need to get my KPI. Second, I describe my process. Third, I do some prioritization. Fourth, I need some problem solving. Then I do some action, and then I look at the standard. Okay, this is what you would describe here. All right. Questions so far? All right. So point number 6, we talk about results, right? So we are going to talk about the results. When you describe the results, this part of the research states the obtained results and highlights the main takings for the reader. Okay. You should describe the way in which the results were obtained. Let's say if you're doing a case study, you describe the population. I don't know, imagine you go to campus and you start asking students about their preferences on the menu, okay, in the cafeteria. And then not only you need to know their preferences, but you need to know stuff about them, okay, to link. So you need to know how old they are, where they come from, age, gender, weight. The more information you get, the better your results will be put in context, and then how many you're asking. It is not, people from, Germany will not have the same preferences as people from Vietnam or people from China or people from Spain or Brazil, okay? In terms of food or in terms of drinks or in terms of whatever, okay? I don't know. You give context, population, and so on. So you get data in order to give as much context as possible. Okay? Does it make sense? All right. Okay, I got one answer. The rest, you there? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Okay, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, cool. Thanks. So then the point number 7 is, it's called discussion. Okay. So this is where this is for me the most interesting part of all researches. Okay, this is where the researcher explains the consequences of her research in a broader context. This part should be linked to the research gap. Remember, we talked about state of the art. What is the research gap? Remember, we talked before about the state of the art somewhere here. What have others done? Okay. State of the art is the current state. State of the art is the current state before your research. Like your research is here. You're doing something new, otherwise it would not be published, okay? Your research is here. So it's like the future, the new, the future. This is your research. All right. So, and this delta between what was or what is and what should be, this delta, this is the research gap. This is your value adding part. This is what you are adding to the community. Okay? Without a strong research gap, your research is bullshit or it's not worth it. Okay? So make sure you make it very clear before you even start what is your what gap you are closing. This is the value of the research. Let me make happy letters. This is the value. maybe with happy letters, it's more important. Okay, the value of the research is your research gap, what you're closing, whatever you are delivering to the community. And this is what gives value to your contribution. Okay. The last part is, okay, I discovered a new way to find some drugs or some medicine for this illness, and then you say, okay, this is going to have this and that impact, and but we will continue our research in this direction because this is not closed. You can also add here some limitations. Okay, this research was good, but we needed to make this and that compromise. So this part is not mandatory. It can be stated in the discussion. Okay, but for cleanliness purposes, now that you're starting, I recommend that you put it separately. Okay, you should separate it in the beginning. I mean, once you're doing after your PhD, you can be more flexible. Okay, you state your conclusions, your future work, what should be done later on, and some limitations of the research. The last part is also mandatory, and here we need to be careful. I'll show you an example. Okay, right away the references. This part needs to be. This is a standardized part of the paper, and every journal, book, editor, or basically everybody has their or even a university has their own standard. Okay, examples are Harvard style, or you can also have Elsevier style, you can have APA style, American Physical Association, whatever. I mean, there are many, but this is solved if this is made automatically by a machine if you use LaTeX, and I totally recommend, and some Zotero or something like similar. There are other, you don't need to use this. So this is taken care of if you do it in a professional manner. Okay. So any questions on this part of the can you give me thumbs up, or I mean you're not very active. Okay, maybe it's a cultural thing, because I don't know if you're used to giving feedback when you're attending a class, but yeah. Anyway, so let's look at stuff. So this was about yet now the structure, okay? So now let me show you some tricks that can be used when you do research. And yeah, so I'll upload all the information, as I already said. I'll upload all the information to this website. Please make sure you are visiting it. You can go to lecture videos, and then there is one part here somewhere called research methods. Where is that? Here, research methods 25, 26, and then this is the first lecture we saw, okay? So here you can go there and visit the research lectures, and then you can go also to the lecture notes here. You jump up to this menu, and it's someplace here. You have the winter semester, which is where we are now, and then we have here HUGS, and here you will find the later on, and when we are done, I will upload the whole PDF that I just wrote. Okay, so you have the website, and you can go ahead and download all the information. I'm saying this for those of you that are new. Anyway, so let's see what we can do to boost your performance. So the first thing we can do is go to overleaf.com. Okay. You can create a your own password. I think that's the, no. Maybe that's the one. No, okay. Wrong? Yeah, I'm wrong. I mean, I have so many passwords that. No. No, but I'm not sure I want to show you in the internet all this. Wait, let me show you in a different way. So you log in, okay? So, and then we can go to the templates. You search here for journal articles, and you will get, I don't know, if you are, what university are you from? Can you tell me Vietnam? What? Can you tell me? Hello? Can you write it in the chat?
Sí. Sí. Hola.
Hello? Can you tell me the university in the chat? Okay, thank you. Vietnamese journal, yeah. Vietnamese German University, right? So I go to search, there's no results. Okay, so your university doesn't have so if you want to work with some Vietnam templates, I mean, this is, I don't know, I don't understand this. This is a typical university report from one guy called Tien Tai, okay? There are templates from Ho Chi Minh, University of Technology, some dissertation templates. If you go to Hochschule Heilbronn, you will find here a template for Heilbronn University thesis from one colleague of mine called Detlef Stern, both in German and in English. So if you click in there, you can view it as a PDF. Okay, so this is already taken care of. Okay, the whole I mean, we could open a template, but for that we would need to log in. Okay, which I'm not going to do with my password. So you can use this overleaf, and the templates are all for free. So and the whole formatting is done for you. Okay, the only thing you need to know is how to use LaTeX, and there are many tutorials online to do that. The second thing is Google Scholar. Okay, this is something very important for you. So imagine we are looking at automobile industry in Vietnam. Okay. So, and now imagine I would like to I guess I will show you the overleaf later on, but offline once I'm not recording the lecture anymore. Okay, I'll show it to you later. So you can go ahead and say, okay, I want to read this: environmental management, accounting, perception and implementation in the automobile industry in Vietnam. Okay, so you can go ahead and read it. And if you want to cite it, what you do is you go to cite here, these two little apostrophes there, okay? And then you go cite, and then you get something called bibtext, okay? You would go to bibtext and copy this text, and we will copy that later on in our LaTeX document. I'll show you how in a second, okay? So once we do that, we have our bibtext. Other way to do it is to go to zotero.org. Okay. What is this? Zotero. So better like that. So this is a personal research assistant, which will make your life way easier when you yeah, when you're working on research. Okay, so you can log in or even download. There's a little application, and then you have everything. It's just in one place, making your life super easy. All right. So now I'm gonna stop the video, and I will share my